you guys again. So you're going to join me on another day in my exciting work as an accountant. Cool. Well, just had to restart my computer because of network issues. Gremlins are working in the computer network. It's really funny, you call your IT support and they just tell you, restart it. I'm like, so I'm paying you to tell me to do something I've already done. Anyways, that's just funny. I wonder if they really know what they're doing sometimes, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they just say restart, which is just weird. And maybe the AI has already taken over and AI already knows and it just wants to mess with us with our random IT issues. Don't know what that is. It's funny. Hey, before we go any further, I want to remind you to subscribe to this channel. Turn on the notification bell. I think it's right about here, or maybe it's here now, or maybe it's up here, or over here, or somewhere. Also, hit the like button, smash it, beat it up. It's probably in this area, or who knows, it's been changing sometimes, but it's been here for a while. So yeah, smash it, beat it up, leave a comment, share it with others. Now back to our video. Hey, yeah, I'm not doing a walk today for my lunch. I'm actually taking off early today. Our boss said, hey, you know what, it's New Year's Eve, go home. So, going home for lunch and staying home. It's New Year's Eve, as I just said, so when you actually see this video, it'll be the new year. But yeah, so I'm driving in my mighty pickup. I love this pickup. I like Toyotas in general. Hopefully there's not too many areas that I gotta censor out of this for blurring or I do the black bar. I haven't figured out the blurring aspect. I think there's a way to blur on the edit software I use. I use just open shot. That's what I'm currently using. It works, at least from my point of view, and hopefully you think so too. I really need to fix this exhaust. You know, it's kind of funny with this pickup. You know, it's a 93 Toyota pickup. Extended cab, a 6-foot bed, and you know, it's 4-wheel drive. It's got the 22 RE. It's got air conditioning. It's got heat. It's got, well, it had a radio. I need to probably put in a new radio and new speakers. And as you can see, the interior is kind of falling apart. Dash has got some cracks. I got a spare dash in the back. I just need to figure out how to put it all, glue it together. It's the cover for the dash pad. I think I actually need to get a new dash pad for it too. But you know, my wife's like, oh, I just replace parts. I'm like, yeah, honey, but this is like a 30-plus-year-old truck. Pickup, I shouldn't say truck, it's a pickup. And all these parts I'm replacing are actually stocked from the factory. That says something. And you know, people, you know, I might be accused of being a Toyota fanboy, but there's a reason for it. I mean, this is a 30-plus-year-old pickup built in Japan. The VIN number is from Japan. It's not the California plant that some of these are made out of. This is actually from the Japan plant. So I can say it's actually a Japan Hilux. But, you know, that says something that 30-plus years old, it's got over 300,000 miles on it. And I'm now replacing stock parts on it. In fact, I got to redo my front end for the steering, put new tie rods and stuff in, because they're the factory tie rods from Japan, put in there in a factory in Japan in 1993 or 1992, depends on when exactly the model year. This was in the year that it was manufactured. I guess if I ran the full VIN number, you can tell me, but that says something. You know, and I've heard from people who are Toyota master mechanics, is like the new ones aren't quite the same in terms of long term. You can literally abuse them and never maintain them, and they'll last forever. He's like, from what I've heard, the Car Care Nut on YouTube, Great video. I follow him on my personal stuff. And he's like, if you take care of them, they'll last just as long, they'll last forever just like the older ones, but they're not, you can't abuse them quite like the older ones. And when he says abuse, you know, you can't just neglect them. I could say with this pickup, you could probably neglect a good portion of it, and it's still running. You know, granted, I got to replace the, I mean, when you look at the exhaust, I put a header on when the engine actually blew, and it didn't blow. What happened is the tensioner for the timing chain, it broke, and so I lost tension on the timing chain, and it came off while I was driving, while the engine was on. So that kind of totaled out the engine. So there's a place about 2 hours north of where I live. They do a pretty good job on, they kind of specialize on smaller Japanese engines, Subarus and Toyotas, the 22REs. And I took it up, ran it up there, they rebuilt it for me. I had them balance it and port polish the head, put a RV cam in, had them balance it, everything with the harmonic balancer and the flywheel and everything. So it's all timed and balanced really well. And the engine's really smooth running compared to where it was. And I probably gained maybe 20, 30 horsepower out of it. And I put a header on it, which helped too. But the problem is I have a header on, but everything past the header is still the stock 30 or 30 plus year old exhaust. In fact, if you look at the muffler, it's kind of just not there. You know, there's the hole out the back for the muffler that the tailpipe comes out of. Well, there's also a hole in the muffler. And when I say hole, you could probably put a whole 15-pound turkey in there. That's how big the hole is. So I need to replace that. I'm kind of lazy about it. And you know, I don't drive. I drive my pickup a lot in the fall and winter and early spring, and usually late fall, winter, and then early spring. Because usually I also I have a motorcycle that I commute on, and I really like commuting on my motorcycle a bit more because it gets better mileage, and it's a motorcycle. And now you're going to ask, what type of motorcycle is it? Well, it's a motorcycle I got shortly after I finished college. I'd saved up for a while, so it wasn't quite a graduation present for myself. I'd almost been out a whole year when I bought it, but it's a 07 Sportster 1200. It's not the 88. It's not the 883. It's the 1200 cc, which is 75 cubic inches, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'll put the description. I'll spell it out somewhere in this video. But that's been a great motorcycle. And to tell you how much I commute on a motorcycle and how much I'm committed to riding motorcycles, the first year I had that motorcycle, I put about 27,000 miles on it the first year. And I probably have on that motorcycle now. I mean, because my first job out of college, I had to commute quite a bit. I mean, I had basically a 45-minute commute. And in that 45 minutes, I was going probably about 40 miles a day to and from. So 40 miles there, 4 miles back, so 80 miles a day. So yeah, it was, I clocked up a lot of miles on it. And it's been a phenomenal motorcycle. The only thing is I need to actually take it into the Harley dealership. I need to have them take the head off, and the studs for the exhaust are broken, so I got a really loud exhaust. And you know, Harleys are kind of loud to begin with. Well, now it's annoyingly loud to me. I don't care if it's annoyingly loud to anyone else, because those who ride motorcycles will tell you you're scared mostly of other drivers. I've been riding a motorcycle since I was 21, and I'm going into my mid-40s now. I mean, and so I don't so much I'm pretty confident on my motorcycle riding. I've done a lot of stupid things, and I've recovered from it. I mainly fear other drivers, and I think that's what you'll get from most motorcycle drivers, is you fear other people more than anything else. and maybe occasional wildlife. Because my first motorcycle accident I ever had was I had gotten done with one of my classes when I was in college, and for some reason that day I decided to put on all my gear. And I typically always wear my jacket, but I don't always wear riding pants because, you know, they're a pain to put on and take on and off, especially if you're carrying concealed. And for some reason I got done with my class that day, and I was going to go for a ride, then go back to my place and study. I figured I should put on my pants, and so I did. And I was up in a kind of a hilly area. I was taking a really nice corner, you know, really leaning into it. It was really great. And I saw the corner of my eye on this, you know, nice house. On their lawn, they had probably about a 6-month-old Dalmatian. And I thought to myself, I'm like, I bet that Dalmatian's gonna run out and hit me. And sure enough, it ran out and hit me. And the way it hit me, it hit my front tire. The dog died. You know, sad for that, but it took out my front tire. So my front tire went out from underneath me at this time I was riding a sport bike, Yamaha. And so, you know, I was probably doing 45, 50 on a really, you know, I was really leaning into it, really leaning, and doing 45, 40 miles an hour, and the dog took out my front tire, and I just hit the ground, and I started sliding. Bike started to go slide off one way, and, you know, because, you know, I'm on the ground sliding, and I look through my helmet, and I see just a stop sign, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit the stop sign. I'm like, oh, okay, the stop sign is going to probably, like, cut me in half, the post. And so I just close my eyes, say a prayer. I'm like, hey, God, I love you. If you want to keep me alive, that'd be nice. So I just closed my eyes, and I opened them, and everything was pitch black. I was like, okay, I'm feeling my body. I'm hearing myself breathe. I'm like, so I'm alive. Am I blinded now? Am I in a coma? You know, I don't know what, but then I start to feel my fingers move, and I feel someone tapping me on the back. And it was a driver that he said basically he saw the dog hit me. He was behind me, and he saw the dog hit me, and he saw me, you know, go sliding off. He wanted to make sure I was okay, and he was being really gentle. He obviously knew that you don't move someone after that, something like that. And I'm like, you know, I'm like talking through the helmet, you know, and I'm in the dirt, and that's one reason why it was all black. My face shield was just covered in mud and dirt, so I couldn't see out of it. And I'm just like, am I like disabled? I tried wiggling my toes, and my toes are wiggling. I move my fingers. I'm like, okay, I think I'm okay. So I get up, and I feel the guy. He's like, you're okay? Take it easy. Take it easy. I can hear him. I still can't see anything, and I just move up, and I just rip the face shield off my helmet. And of course, it was also all scraped up. The helmet was scraped up. I mean, I got a new helmet after that, but whew, I was like, okay, I'm okay. But, you know, I can feel the adrenaline, so I don't know if I'm really okay. Because when you get that adrenaline, you don't know fully. That's why in, like, combat scenarios, when you do a blood sweep, you typically have another guy do a blood sweep on you, and you do a blood sweep on them, because you may not feel it because of your adrenaline. You may not feel a wound or an injury. So I'm like, I'm pumped full of adrenaline at this point. I'm like, well, I can move, I can walk, I'm breathing, I can see now. I take my helmet off, you know, I check, my neck feels okay. The guy who was there, he's like, okay, just sit down right here and take it easy. And then another person showed up, and they were a doctor. And he was an ER doctor, so he comes out, he's like, you okay? And he checks me out, he's like, okay, I don't think there's anything major with you. We're gonna need to get you should probably go get checked out. So I'm like, okay, and I did, I went and got checked out. We moved my bike off the road, because it was kind of half on the road, half in the ditch. We move it all the way into the ditch, and somebody had called 911, another driver, and so the police showed up. They took a quick statement from me, make sure I was okay. They want to know if I need an ambulance. I'm like, nah, you know, it wasn't too far, so I had a friend come out. He picked me up. We ran to the doctor, ran some scans. I was okay. You know, I was beat up. I didn't have anything broken on me. I didn't have any skin breakage or anything. I was in a lot of pain just from the sudden stop. I mean, when your body is going at a certain velocity and it comes to a pretty quick stop, you're pretty sore. I mean, I was lucky that nothing was broken. I was just sore from being. But then my friend, he had a pickup and we went back. Painfully, I helped load my pickup into his pickup. Not my pickup, my motorcycle in. And it wasn't too bad, surprisingly. I had all the slider bars and everything on it and crash bars on it. So it actually fared pretty well. It had some body damage, had to replace some of the levers and everything on it, but it did pretty well. Yeah, it was repairable, and it didn't look, other than some scratches on some of the body panels, you couldn't tell how bad it had been, how bad my accident had been, how fast I'd been going. The dog was found, it had died from its injuries. You know, sad, but also the owners should have been better owners and been training that dog, or had it locked up. Maybe it got out, but it was, you know, that part was kind of sad. The dog did die. It moved off a little ways just because of the way everything hit. It was found further down off the road, and it didn't die in a very pleasant manner. So that part's sad, but also the owners should have been taking better care of it. And the owners fessed up. They paid for all the new parts, and they paid for my quick ER stint where they checked me all out. So they made it good on their end. They realized they were at fault. It's their property that caused my accident. And yeah. So yeah, I like motorcycles. And basically after a week of recuperation and the pain, and I got all the parts, I was riding that same motorcycle again. And then a problem with some sport bikes, they're just not made to put lots of miles on. I mean, I'm the type, I will put miles on a motorcycle. I will, it's my commuter, it's what I commute on, it's what I've done shopping, grocery shopping with motorcycles. And at that time, I had that motorcycle, I was dating a girl, and she moved down to Salt Lake, and I was in Oregon going to school, and it was like a 1,000-mile trip. On a motorcycle, I would go down on my motorcycle, go see her. Didn't work out. I married someone else. I married my current wife, my only wife. I've only been married once, and I plan to only ever be married once. But yeah. And so I got out of college, got my first job, saved up some money, and went and bought a brand new Harley Davidson Sportster. And I've had that thing up until, and I still drive it now, still commute on it when the weather's nice. I'm not quite as gung-ho as I used to be, but I still, yeah. Guess we'll move on to the next segment. Hey, in the minivan now. Since I got out early, my wife and I decided to take like an early dinner, late lunch. So we're going out to eat right now. She's in grabbing something real quick before we go to our place that we're gonna eat. We're gonna go have some Mexican, some place that has really good street tacos. They're kind of a locally owned thing for us. We also like to get pupusas at a Salvadorian place that's in the area where we live. And pupusas, they're not tacos, they're pupusas, and they're different, and they taste really good when done right. Just like in the place that we go, does it just the way you'd get in a place in El Salvador for a pupuseria. So yeah, if you ever had a chance, get some pupusas. They are a unique experience. They're a corn tortilla, and they're stuffed with beans and meat and cheese. I mean, they're stuffed typically with beans and cheese, but a lot of times you can also get it with chicken or beef or pork, and it's just, oh, then you put toppings, then it gets cooked together, and then you put toppings on top, usually some type of salad, and maybe some other meat and some cheeses. It's really good. get some pupusas. Just got done eating dinner with my wife. We went to Mexican. Had some street tacos for me. She had a burrito. We had frijoles and arroz, so rice and beans, and salsa. They had a salsa bar that you can go through and you pick out which type of salsa you want. It was really good. It's New Year's Eve, so we're probably going to be getting ready to go over to a friend's house. So we go pretty much every year. They got a whole bunch of kids. We got kids. And they usually have other people over, and kids kind of play, and then the adults kind of have, we kind of do games and then celebrate the new year. I mean, for me, staying up late sucks, but talking with people, that's kind of the nice part, and socializing. Just don't like staying up late because I just feel like I just don't feel good the next day. I just feel like I'm just super tired then when I get home. I just want to go to sleep. Either way, this is me signing off for 2024. You guys will be probably watching this in 2025, but either way, this is Esteban Parsons, your reasonable accountant, signing off for 2024. Let's have a good new year. Take care.